First of all, welcome to another webinar from Gupshup, and this time we'll be actually talking about conversational marketing with bots. So my name is Shreyans Parsukirti and I'm a developer evangelist at Gupshup. With me, I have Renisha Rowe, who heads product marketing management and strategy, and that's our Twitter handle right there if you want to follow. In today's agenda, we are going to talk about evolution of marketing, then what is conversational marketing, then tools that can help you. We'll do a quick demo, as well as we'll talk about some of the use cases that we have come across, or we have been talking to different people about the use cases that can help them. If you have any kind of questions or query, you can actually write them into the question section and we will take them up at the end. All right, with that, I'm going to just hand it over to Renisha to actually take this over. Over to you, Renisha. I'm making you presenter. Yeah, Renisha, you have the control now.
So hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on conversational marketing with bots. So we're going to kick it off with the evolution of marketing. So right from the beginning of marketing, when we started off, most marketers were used to outbound marketing. And this was a very marketer-driven, push-based kind of marketing, where marketers would basically just push out or blast out the campaigns through TV or radio or print or any of these kind of mass media channels. And even in the new age, we see search engine advertising or display advertising using Google AdWords or Google AdSense and a plethora of mobile app advertising platforms as well, including social media advertising and so on. And all of these channels, they really serve to get the message out, create a lot of buzz, create awareness. But in many ways, they're quite inefficient because you end up, sending out a message to a lot of people, but very few or only a few handful might actually come back and show an interest in your product. So they tend to be quite expensive, and they can be a little annoying as well. Especially on TV, where you see the same ads being played over and over and so on, right? So after outbound marketing, what marketers kind of realized was that it's better to kind of go with a more targeted form of marketing. And that's how inbound marketing was born. And this was a more consumer-driven, pull-based marketing. Here, marketers started thinking from the consumer's perspective, and creating different consumer or customer personas, figuring out, okay, who are the kind of people I want to be selling my products to, rather than what are my products about and how do I sell them. And so while doing this, they decided that they need to create more interesting content and get that content out in the form of blogs or influencers on social media, or people who can get the word out through interesting content that's put out there. Use search engine optimization to drive people to the website, who are people who are searching for specific products that the business is also selling, or emailing to their opt-in customers or customers who signed up for their newsletters and so on. And this kind of inbound marketing is has been fairly effective, at least in the West, where you see a lot of companies using it in order to drive customers to their own properties, like their websites and their apps, and actually once they're there, kind of getting them to fill up a form and then taking the conversation forward and closing them into an actual customer. And then now the latest buzzword in marketing is really about conversational marketing. And conversational marketing really represents this paradigm shift in the way marketing is done. It combines the best of two worlds in both in many ways, and it kind of combines what outbound marketing and inbound marketing does, but in a more personal and a very interactive way. What conversational marketing basically is it allows marketers to connect with their customers through a conversation on a messaging platform. And uh, this kind of conversation tends to be very one-on-one, personalized, contextual in nature. And we're just going to see how, and really what conversational marketing is and how it can be used for maximum potential. So when we talk about conversational marketing, you kind of think it's like a through a physical store, and you had the store manager greet you and kind of ask you, well, what are you looking for and how can I help you? And conversational marketing, in a way, brings back that human touch that was missing for so many years to marketing. And this conversational marketing doesn't really have to be, just a text based chat, or a chat widget on a website and so on. It can also very much be a voice based conversation where the business can talk to a customer through voice channels, and a lot of this is being enabled through chatbots. Now chatbots can either bring, or can structure the conversation in two different ways. It could be either a structured conversation where the customer basically has to choose through a set of buttons or carousels and so on until he gets to what he's looking for. Or, for example, a good example could be that of a loan eligibility use case where the customer wants to know what's his eligibility for a loan, and he's just guided through a set of questions where he has to just put in some inputs, and then he finally arrives at an eligibility for a loan which is based on calculated or a calculator value at the back end. On the other hand, it could also be an unstructured conversation where the customer could just ask about just about anything in a very unstructured, informal manner, in terms of, well, how, if I wanted to, find out about this new product of yours, who can I talk to, right? And conversational marketing can quickly switch between a chatbot to an actual human assistant who can then jump in and answer those questions as well. So conversational marketing is all of these things. It's personalized because you can basically personalize the conversation for each and every customer at an individual level, to his likes and dislikes, to his preferences. And you can actually gather a lot more information about the customer through a conversation than you ever could through a website form. Furthermore, customers, they don't want to repeat themselves. If they've had a conversation with you, they expect that you're going to remember what you spoke last about, and to take that conversation quickly forward without having to repeat themselves or waste any more time going over something that's already been talked about. And this is what conversational marketing does really well by maintaining the context and the state of the conversations you had before. So, for instance, if you've always been ordering pizza from a local pizza shop that you like, the conversational marketing chatbot could probably remember that you always like an extra topping of olives, for instance, and could already suggest to you before you could even specify that out during the conversation to place an order. Furthermore, the conversation always stays in one place. So rather than being a very one-time activity of getting an order, it could always be an ongoing relationship because the conversation stays persistent. The customer can always go back to the conversation, look back at what has happened before, and continue the conversation from there. So in many ways, conversational marketing is enabling brands to become or occupy a persona that's almost like a friend, or it could be an advisor, a guide, or even assistant, depending on how you want the customer to perceive you. So if you really look at the large picture of the difference between inbound and outbound versus conversational, inbound and outbound tend to be a one-to-many kind of a communication, where you have a one-size-fits-all or one-size-fits a specific set of segments that you may come up with. Whereas conversational tends to be a personalized kind of a communication, where the brand is talking to a customer as if he were the only person that they can talk to. that they're speaking to, and his needs need to be treated differently than any other person that they're speaking to. While inbound and outbound tend to be a yell and sell kind of an approach, where you just kind of shout out loud and expect people to come back and express an interest in your product, and then you're really not sure who's going to come back. Whereas in conversational marketing, you kind of chat with the customer and you connect with him on an individual basis, and you understand what his preferences or likes are, and actually get an understanding of his requirements and take those requirements and actually convert it into a sale. Inbound and outbound also tend to be fairly around campaigns. So you think about them in terms of a one-time activity or a very transactional activity, which has a very short-term perspective. Whereas conversations tend to have a very long-term perspective, where you're engaging with the customer for a longer period of time. And where inbound and outbound marketing tend to focus on a lot of big data in terms of you have to mine a lot of data in order to figure out your target segments, and really come up with a targeted plan to go after specific customer segments that you're looking at. Conversational marketing really is about small data. It's just about looking at every customer and just looking at what his demographics are, what are his preferences, which channels does he like to frequent, which products does he like, which categories is he interested in. And then you can serve much better because it's at an individual level, and you don't really have to focus on creating these different target groups or segments. Inbound and outbound also tend to be always perfect. And what we mean by that is, when you're creating, say, a TV commercial, for instance, you're spending a lot of time to create a piece of collateral that is going to appeal to a very large mass of people. So there's a lot of time, effort, and money also spent to create the perfect piece of marketing collateral. Whereas with conversational, it's really about being always on, about being always available, being always responsive. And a lot of times you don't have the luxury of time, but what you kind of gain by not creating a very perfect collateral is that you also tend to have a very quick learning cycle, and therefore you can quickly get back to having a very in-depth and very deep connect with the customer through this methodology. So now that we understand the basic differences between inbound and outbound and how it has evolved to conversational marketing, let's see the few features of conversational marketing and the aspects that marketers need to take into account. So obviously messaging from between businesses and customers in the form of one-to-one messaging is becoming smarter and conversational. So where we had very simple notifications in terms of just a one-time notification going to the customer, and that's basically where the interaction ends. There is no further interaction that happens after that, and there's very limited content that the customer gets to really see and take a decision on, right? We're moving from those kind of simple notifications to more smart messaging, where a single notification leads into a conversation that can lead into an actual business opportunity for the brand. And here you can have very deep content, you can have rich media, which is highly engaging, and therefore, because it's highly engaging, you can actually have a much better ROI on your marketing activities. Smart messaging is obviously conversational, because conversational marketing is really about having or enabling all of the aspects of chatbots that are so well known or are so well received by consumers today. So while smart messaging is really about understanding the natural language of customers that are speaking with the brand, and trying to understand what are they really talking about. So if a customer asks if I want to recharge my phone and another customer asks, well, I want to add balance to my phone. They both mean the same thing. And the chatbot needs to understand that this is what the customer is really asking for and give out an appropriate response to that. It's also automated, which means you get an instant and an accurate response because the chatbot is already programmed in order to make sense and quickly give out a response to the customer. And the customer is also benefited by this because he now gets a very real-time response and doesn't have to wait for someone to call back and so on. Also, it tends to be fairly contextual, which means to the specific situation of the customer and where he exactly is in the sales cycle. So if he's just exploring, maybe you just want to share a few more details about the products, which helps him make a decision rather than bombard him with too much information. It could also be personalized, which means that you take into account his location, the language he speaks, the lifestyle that he has, and tailor your conversations to make more sense and be more relevant and meaningful for that customer. Smart messaging also has rich media, which is much better than simple text messages or the simple kind of emails that we often receive from brands or businesses. It can be very interactive in the form of images or emoji. You can have location sharing. You can, share documents like account statements and so on. And all of these kind of rich media are actually dispersed through messaging channels that customers are already accustomed to using because that's how they're communicating with their friends, with their family, in their personal lives. And therefore, moving them from a personal communication to a business communication with the help of more engaging content like rich media has enormous benefits. Thirdly, smart messaging is multi-channel, which means that it needs to work across all these channels wherever the customer may be. So if a customer is on Facebook Messenger and he wants to reach out to me through Facebook Messenger, then I need to, as a business, make sure that I'm present on that channel and so that he can reach out to me. Similarly, I might have a customer who's online or who wants to chat with me on Viber, for instance, or Kik, right? And wherever they are, smart messaging should be smart enough in a way that it works across all of these channels. And what we have in terms of smart messaging is that we have a single API that works across all of these channels. Smart messaging, in terms of why it makes so much sense for businesses, is because it drives business literally across the whole customer life cycle, across different functions in a business. So right from marketing, where you're acquiring a customer, right to commerce, where they're purchasing from you, right to support, where you're actually serving the customer and answering questions or queries or solving problems. Smart messaging can impact each and every single aspect of the business. These are the different kinds of benefits that smart messaging can deliver, and they are tremendous. You can also have improved conversions, obviously, because your conversations are more impactful, they're more relevant, they tend to be more personalized. Therefore, customers really feel like they're being heard, like they're being listened to, and they're getting really relevant suggestions. And therefore, you can decrease your sales cycle and very quickly, and you can actually build a sales pipeline as well, and make sure that you're churning out these good deals to your customers and ensuring that they're converting very quickly. Furthermore, there's also an increased engagement, obviously, because they're always getting what they want very quickly and instantly. You're making sure that you're you're sending out your best offers and deals to them so that they know that they're getting value from interacting with your brand. And thirdly, because most of this conversational marketing happens on database channels, there are also substantial savings compared to the more traditional forms of marketing that businesses have been accustomed to. So now that we've had a fair understanding about what is conversational marketing, what are its features, what are the benefits that it delivers, let's have a look at what are the tools that we really require in order to actually implement this and put this into practice. So having said that, I'm gonna hand it over back to Shriyans so he can take you through the next set of slides. Over to you, Shriyans.
Sure, thanks, Anisha. Hey guys, I'm just gonna take back control. Yeah. So I'm sorry, my presentation is stuck there. Just a moment. Right now, we talked about conversational marketing. You can do campaigns. You can do a lot of stuff. Along with that, you have so there. I would, if you look at the slide, you can define them as like you need campaigns tool. You need a tool to build a bot. You also need some sort of messaging APIs to send out messages to different messaging channels. Now you could actually find all these tools at different places. There are different companies which provide one or two of these tools, but at Gupshup you actually get all of these at one place. So Gupshup is as few of you who are, I can see from the attendees list, have already been connected with Gupshup. So Gupshup is one of the leading smart messaging platform where you can build conversational experiences, and we have always been into messaging from the day one, right? So we understand a lot of these, and we have a very huge experience with campaigns. We have huge experience with the bots we have, and we also have APIs. So right, moving on. So as I mentioned, we also now have a campaign tool where you can create conversational CTAs. You can actually create it for multiple channels. Then you can select what are your target audience. You can select kind of rich media and automate. You can also schedule it. So there are a lot of stuff you can do with this campaign stuff. Along with that, we also have our bot platform, which I would say is one of the most leading bot platform out there. We also have major partners in Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, etc. So our bot platform has many set of tools which is useful for bot developer, and it's kind of for a broader audience, where we have tool for developers where they can come and code into the cloud IDE. We have tools for non-developers as well, where we have a flow bot builder where you can actually go ahead and create a bot very quickly using the graphical tool. And we also have our template bot builder which you can utilize. Along with that, not only tools for development, but we have our own NLP engine. Now NLP stands for natural language processing. So to this makes unstructured text entered by users structured. So as Renisha had mentioned, while recharging his a user recharging his phone may say, I want to recharge my phone, or I want to top up balance into my phone. And those are actually two if you think from a programmatical way, there are two different statements, but their meaning is same. So natural language processing helps us in identifying the actual intent behind those. And we now have the framework with us. We have our own NLP engine as well, which is actually tied very deeply with the ID bot builder and the flow bot builder. We also have now a channel where two bots can interact with each other. So if as a brand you have two bots, and you have built the campaign on top of one of the bot, and you can actually connect both the bot, and which can then respond back to the users depending on what product he chooses. So for example, you are a bank, and you have a bot for loan, you have a bot for insurance. Now you can connect them, let them talk to each other with and have a you know the main bank bot on the top. So any query regarding loan will go to loan bot, any query regarding the insurance can go to insurance bot, etc. We have more than 30 plus channels integration right now, and we have our own messaging APIs. Currently we are also our API is processing 4 billion transactions per month, which is a huge number uh, across 350 plus million customers. Now this includes all the since Gupshup is also India's largest SMS vendor, so that includes everything. Um, so we have we have channel integration where you can have text-based conversation, you can have voice, you can also embed the chat widget into your web, or you can have that chat widget into your app, so you can lead users directly to your app where they can start conversation with the bot, or you can actually lead them to the website where they can start conversation as well. In terms of robustness of the smart messaging platform that we have, so since the numbers I just showed you, 4 billion messages per month is a big deal, and we have actually grown into number in past couple of years, so we are highly scalable, we can handle high volumes as well. In terms of performances, I would say we have very low latency. I mean, uh, even our bot platform, a few people using our bot platform know that the message and everything actually passes by in an instant, I would say. In terms of security, so we take care of data encryption and everything. We are also ISO certified. You can see the number there, and we take care of almost all the security compliance which is required. uh, well, we do have to take care of it because we have banks and everyone, many major social media as our clients, so we do take security very seriously. In terms of reliability, so I would say we have a very good, we have a very good uptime. I would say 99% or higher uptime rate, so our servers and infrastructure is really reliable. We also offer analytics in terms of messaging delivery. Did the message fail? Well, did it deliver? What type user interactions, how many messages has the user interacted with, what type of engagement metrics and everything. So yeah, uh, here is a list of all the companies. This well includes both companies who are using us for their SMS needs, like transactional, promotional, our bot who are using our bot platform for developing bots for them. For example, ICICI Bank is there. uh, there are a lot of companies which has for which we have developed bots uh, are right there. And then there are companies for whom we have run campaigns and all, so you can see we have a very good trusted list of companies as well, right? Let's in terms of demo, in terms of conversational marketing, we talked about outbound, inbound. Outbound is like you send out an SMS to a lot of persons, and if they they choose to talk about it or not, or uh, you know what actions they would take. Second would be you do not have numbers of your customer, and somehow you want them to connect with you. You can have a number to which users can give missed call, and then they receive details of the bot. And then third use case is where you also have a number, but you want to directly connect without even sending SMS. You want to directly connect to their social media. You want to send start the bot with their social media. So in that case, there's something called customer matching available, where if users number is updated on Facebook Messenger, you can actually send him message directly on Facebook Messenger, and from there the bot takes over. So in my demo, I'll just quickly show you the use case where I'll give a missed call to a number. I get the link to the bot. I start the conversation, and that's it. From there on, the bot and the user can continue the conversation. So which is our motive here uh, for talking about conversational marketing. So let me just pull up my phone. I hope you're able to see my screen right there. Yeah, so this is the number we have configured as of now, where I'm going to just give a missed call to this number. As you can see, I'm just going to give a missed call to this number, and I'll just disconnect the phone. And once I do that, I actually get an SMS from Gupshup. I also have the notification because now the customer matching I was talking about, it happened, and the bot actually I've been interacting with the bot, so it actually took send me message directly on Facebook Messenger as well. But you can get an SMS like this. If I click on this, it will take me actually to my Facebook Messenger and send me the first message. Now this is like if you want to know about Gupshup, you give a missed call, you get that SMS, and you then start interaction. For example, here I'm just having, I'll just open this up in the, oh, yeah, directly here. So this makes more sense because you open the in the web view. So yeah, so the now user has an idea about what Gupshup does and everything. Now this bot has been configured only to do this much, so I you can actually build a bot which does much more than this, where it can be a pizza delivery bot, or it can be a restaurant table booking bot, or it could be any deals or whatever. So we are actually going to talk about different use cases as well. And for talking about that, I'm again going to hand this over to Renisha, who's going to talk about different use cases that we have come across while talking to different clients and everyone, and what we think is really useful for everyone. So over to you, Renisha, once again. I'm just making
Okay,
Renisha
Shan.
presenter. Yeah, you have the control now, Renisha.
Sure. All right, so we're just going to take a look at a couple of use cases from some of the more prevalent sectors that we've come across who've already started adopting and using conversational marketing for their marketing activities or interactions with customers. So the first sector we're going to look at is banking. And here's an example of secure messaging. So every single time you probably swipe your card at a merchant store, you get an SMS notification saying, well, your account has been debited for this amount, and please call us if you've not, actually done this transaction, and report that as a fraud. Now, the same thing could actually happen in a much more interactive and better way through a conversational experience. Let's say it's happening on Facebook Messenger, then you get a notification from the bank saying you have one message. And when you view the message, it opens up in a very secured HTTPS web view, right? So the message content as well is completely secure, and you get the same message, but you also get an interactive button which you can submit if you wanted to report fraud. And as soon as you press the button to report fraud, that complaint actually gets logged with the bank's customer support team, and then they can actually give you a call back to understand the details and take further corrective actions. The next use case is on account statements and bill payments. So a lot of us use credit cards, and at the end of every month, typically you get an account statement of the transactions that you've done and the bill that you need to pay for that month. So of course, you could just get a simple message like you do today, where you just get a text message or an email informing you and reminding you that you need to pay the bill by a certain date. However, if you did it in a conversational way, the way it would look is you could even send a link to view the mini statement, which comes right within the same conversational chat window, right? And you could have that as an image, and you could see all of the transactions that you've done in that month, which total up to the amount that you need to pay. You can also have an option to pay immediately, which is much more customer friendly, and the customer can just go right away and pay their bills and ensure that that bill for that month is taken care of. Finally, even for securities or stock traders, typically they want to keep track of the stocks that they've invested in or the stocks that they're following. And what they can do is actually set a watch list, or set up thresholds. So whenever the price of a stock that they're interested in falls above or below a certain limit, they actually get a notification or an alert. And once they get those notifications, they can actually pull up a window into their website or their app, where they can do a little more trend analysis and figure out do they want to buy or sell or take an action basis that real time notification that they got. Now in e-commerce as a different sector, Of course, whenever you order online, you get a confirmation of your order. But wouldn't it be great if you could also, get a link to track the order, right? So as soon as your order is confirmed, maybe after 2 days, you want to track where exactly it's reached. All you do is you go back to the conversation, pull that up, and just press on the track order link. And that's when you can see probably that it's been already dispatched and it's going to be delivered to you tomorrow. And once maybe the next day comes around and you get an automatic update saying, well, you know what, the order that you placed, it's out for delivery, and along with the delivery person's phone number, just in case you want to reschedule the delivery and so on. So these kind of real-time updates, all appearing in the same window in a very threaded and very structured manner, make sure that the customer really has one place where he wants to go and track his order or do more things related to his order. E-commerce companies also tend to send us a lot of deals and offers because they want to promote their products and make sure that we're coming back, again and again. And this is especially true of, apparel companies and so on, because they have a lot of sales that, are constantly going on. And the way, this conversational kind of an ad or an advertisement can come up in your message box or your inbox is that it can be so much more than just a text message. It could be an image, which is very attractive, which pulls in your attention, with a very exciting offer like a flat 50% off or a cashback offer, etc. And then as soon as you actually have a click call to action button which says shop now, which immediately takes you right into the page which you're looking to get or in order to redeem that particular offer. This is a very interesting use case for a customer referral program. So a lot of startups, who want to grow very quickly and increase their customer base, they tend to, offer quite attractive referral programs where they reward their existing customers if they refer a new customer in the form of either their friend or their family member and so on. So here you see an example on Facebook Messenger where an existing customer gets the referral offer saying, refer a friend and both of you get something for free, right? So when they share that particular message, they actually, get a set of their contact lists, right? So these are people that they anyway speak to on, say, Facebook Messenger, or if it's on WhatsApp, it would be the exact same kind of an experience. You simply choose the friends that you want to send it out to, whom you think might be also interested in this, and then the friend gets a message directly from the customer themselves. So for them it's much more powerful because it's coming as a personal recommendation from their friend, and therefore they're much more likely to actually look at it and consider it and possibly even convert. And let's look at a few general customer engagement use cases. So this is something that's quite popular among airlines or even travel companies. So here, right from the time a customer, books a ticket with them, you can send him the booking confirmation, and then probably when his journey is about to start, you could either tell him if the flight's been delayed or it's rescheduled. You could tell him, well, what, just leave beforehand because there's traffic in your city and so on. So these are the kind of real-time updates you could send to the customer, which makes his journey or his experience through your service really very timely, responsive, and very, very valuable to that customer, because he's getting information that is going to make his journey more comfortable. So you could also go ahead and tell him when you're ready to check in. You could send him the boarding pass as well as an image or as a QR code, which he could actually just go out and probably scan at the kiosk and so on. And these kind of updates really help the customer, because everything that's related right from the time he starts the booking process, right until he takes the journey, right up till he completes the journey, where you can send him a feedback, that that whole process or that whole customer journey can be taken care of all through a conversational flow on a messaging app. Again, in terms of recharge reminders, say, you have, all of us have to pay utility bills, or we have to recharge our phones, or our cable connections and so on. And for all of that, you could send these recharge reminders to a customer, which make it very easy for him to remember that he needs to recharge. You could also send some recharge offers, which could probably save him a lot more money. So he's going to feel like you're trying to look out for him and trying to give him the best value that you can as a company, and that's going to create customer stickiness, which is going to keep him more engaged. Remarketing is when customers probably interacted with you with a chatbot, but maybe they've decided they need to take more time, or maybe they just got busy and they didn't have time to pursue that particular product purchase at that time. And you could actually go back and reinitiate the conversation by sending out a similar but related message to the customer and get back his attention. So this is the way you tend to grow your engagement, by sending messages on the customer's preferred channel and making sure that you're actually taking them through the process from being just a visitor to a lead to an opportunity to an actual sale. So that's about it from the use cases perspective. I'm sure there are far more use cases that are still yet to be explored, but these were just a few that we thought were worth mentioning. So I'm just going to hand it back over now to Shreyans, and thank you. And Shreyans, you can take it back. Thanks.
I guess any questions? I don't see any questions from anyone, so I would consider that no one has any questions. But in case you do have any questions and you want to connect with us and you want to see how we can help you with conversational marketing, you can write to us at developer@gupshup.io. We keep doing these webinars once a week or once in 2 weeks regarding different stuff. We have done a lot of stuff about our platform in past uh, couple of months. You can look at all those previous webinars at gupshup.io, and we will also be updating this page with any upcoming webinar as well. You can also follow us on Twitter/Gupshup. And I hope today's session was interesting and you got some takeaways in terms of how you can engage customers in a much better way, how you can market your product to customers in a much better way than the traditional way you are used to. So yeah, go ahead, take give this a thought, and maybe if you need some help in even in brainstorming, or help in developing one of these conversational marketing stuff, we are there to help you. So with that, I'll just end this. Thank you guys for joining us. Bye.